Hello guys, I hope we're doing alright, and today I want to do an episode on can dyslexics be successful in the new year? Starting off the new year, can us dyslexics, or in other words, how can we be successful? And if you listen to this, watching this and I was like, oh, you're thinking, can a dyslexic be successful? If you listen to me, if you're part of the dyslexic community, if you are aware of dyslexics and the famous dyslexics out there, that answer should be, you should know that answer. And anyway, we'll get into this episode about how dyslexics, can dyslexics be successful in the new year, and how can they be successful if they can. Enjoy the episode, guys, and I hope you had a good day. So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe, where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths, and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be, or in other words, conquer their dyslexia? That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff, and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast. So, how can dyslexics be successful, or can dyslexics be successful in this new year, in this new changing environment? Because now, depending on where you listen to this in the world, this new year, this year 2022, will be kind of similar to 2021 and 2020 because of the coronavirus, yay. But because things are different now. Things are different now because we've learned so much more over the last couple of years about this massive pandemic that's going on, and we came up with lots of different strategies, and it keeps on coming back to bite us, and we keep on trying to go over the curve, trying to learn things, trying to create vaccines, and then the virus gets one step ahead. And anyway, we keep just still fighting this battle of, can we go to work in person, or can we stay at home? And depending on where you are in the world, things are different. And restrictions are different, and a lot of stuff's very, very different. I know where I come from, back in the UK, there's another wave hitting. And it's great. When I say it's great, you know what I mean? I'm over here in Thailand, but it's hard. Dealing with it and doing the same routine over and over again. Being locked down in can be very, very stressful for us. And so what we have to look at is like, okay, how has this last couple of years changed the way we work, changed the way we do things, and moving forward, how can we kind of anticipate something? So then how can we act in a way that we know what's ahead of us, so we can be prepared for whatever has to come? And so that's kind of like what the general recommendations for everyone, like all the people, neurodiverse and neurotypical people. But now we're going to look at, like, okay, can a dyslexic person be successful? Simple answer, yes. Of course we can. Look at all those successful dyslexics out there. You mean Tom Cruise, Albert Einstein, and so many more. Loads of actors, loads of engineers, loads of artists. Like, if you look in any profession, there's someone at the top of that profession who's dyslexic 99.9% of the time. And I've talked about this in great details. I would have a very strong argument that they're there not despite their dyslexia, but because of it. Because they dealt so much struggle in the past that gave them the strength to move forward. If you look at the statistics of dyslexics in type of the good end, 35% of all dyslexics are entrepreneurs. 40% of all dyslexics 40% of all self-made millionaires, are dyslexic. 40%. Half the at MIT, they call dyslexia the MIT bug, because people who go there are all dyslexic. Dyslexic have this trait, have this innate gifts that we have. Either, I think it's got massive combination through both, either through nature and through nurture. There's certain, because dyslexics, we're born with certain strengths. certain way of thinking our creativity, and also we're developed through learning the gift for grit, learning how to struggle, and discovering these things. And so, can dyslexics be successful? Yes. Now the other answer, how? How can we be successful in this changing environment, in these changing times? And so I first off want to say that dyslexics, we have, because there's a thing called mind strengths, about the mind strengths moving forward. Mind strengths is like the different strengths that dyslexics have. It's material reasoning, and I can't remember the words, but basically it's the gifts that we have, and there's so many studies being done upon them. And do you mean there's loads of careers that would benefit us as dyslexics? You mean the arts? You mean a lot of building work, a lot of you mean entrepreneurship? And it's basically when we take ourselves out. It's a lot to do with big picture thinking. It's not to do with creativity. It's a lot to do with using our 3D mind. It's less to do with looking at the small little detail things. It's more to do with taking a step back and seeing things from a bigger perspective and making connections between seamlessly unrelated things. So that's what dyslexics are inherently gifted at. But because those gifts are like those needs are required for any kind of business, any sort of thing, and you can apply them so many different ways. So my advice would be this: it doesn't mean you have to follow these jobs. Do what you find most passionate, do what you find most interested in, and then try and use these things, about being aware of them and also cultivating them. Because you might say, oh, these aren't my gifts, these aren't my strengths, but you have to realize this is a skill to cultivate, and you can cultivate it way much more than someone who's neurotypical. But it's about working on them after years and years and years, and some of them will be stronger than others. Some of them think, I definitely don't have that. Like, my sense of direction is rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Even though you're dyslexic or you should be good at visualization and 3D mapping, I'm not good at my sense of direction. Anyway, so we want to see all these different strengths, and how can we apply them in our job or in our careers. And it's about knowing where the road's going, because I remember listening to this book. I keep forgetting names as well. There's this audiobook, really, really good. I'll try and put it in the show notes or something, in the description down below. But this audiobook basically says about neurodiversity and about all these different people are neurodiverse, and about how the world's shifting from a place where you need more workers, where you need more people to do simple little tasks, and especially like a lot of people who are neurotypical, reading, writing, those sort of things, and basic jobs that us dyslexics find it really hard to do. We find monotony, doing the same thing over and over again, really challenging, because a lot of us want creativity, want to problem solve. And so the world is shifting into more of a way where we need more, I want to use the word creativity. We want to use them more, have more gifts, have more talents. It's like being able to solve more problems, really. I know the words I'm using aren't giving this justice, but the way the world's going is a world that's going to be a lot more designed for dyslexics, because in two ways. Like I said before, first way, with the way things are going, with the reading and the writing, the monotony tasks, they're getting a lot less, and the tasks that are getting a lot more are more the problem solving tasks, the more thinking independently, the more being more creative that us dyslexics love, we thrive for. That's the first way it's changing in a big way. Second way is that dyslexia is becoming more and more well known in the Western world, and eventually it will be in the other end of the world, more and more well known, more and more well accepted, and looked at as more of an advantage. I know it may not seem like that now where you are at work, but it's moving in the grand scheme in the right direction. You have to admit, it's moving in the grand scheme in the right direction. We have to keep on moving it there, okay? In the right direction. And also, the problems we have with reading, writing, spelling, and remembering stuff, all these things are getting helped by technology. All you got to do, go out there, look for the help, look for the technology out there, and find it. And then you apply it to your life. Don't be reliant upon it, but see it can help you get around all the challenges you face day to day, like I do. And so when we're doing that, having the two things, like, okay, the world's becoming more and more accepting, and there's more and more technology out there for us to help us with our weaknesses, as well as more accepting, more knowledge, more aware of our gifts and our strengths, not for everyone else, but also for us as well. And number two, the jobs are requirement for us to be a lot more to our skill set. And we can take that knowledge moving forward. Now, so that's the long term. So that's some very good news long term. And with COVID and everything, let's say what we do a lot more. There's a lot more technology based. It's a lot more technology based, a lot more problems, a lot more distancing, which can be a weakness for us dyslexics. Because I know I'm an introvert, but also like I can act as an extrovert at times when it's need to be. And a lot of people know me who find it very surprising that I am an extrovert. But actually, I love my alone time. I can't, I have to have it. And so moving forward, we want to see, okay, these are the challenges that's coming up, and how can we move about them to be making them some sort of, so one, anticipate them, two, plan for them, and if there's a way of making it turn into an advantage, let's do that as well. Turning into an advantage. But I think the main thing we can get out of this is, firstly, moving forward, it's a good thing. Like, over the long term, it's going to be a good thing for our dyslexics. It's a lot more bad to be dyslexic now than it would be to 50 years ago. 50 years ago, they didn't call it dyslexia. They called it dumb, idiot, stupid, slow. They had no understanding of it. Same, basically, where I am written in Thailand. Dyslexia isn't seen as the thing. They label it as other things. A lot of things is autism over here. Autism and dyslexia are complete opposites. But over here in Thailand, they're not as advanced in their education system, and therefore they aren't aware. It doesn't mean there's less dyslexics out here. There's less diagnosed people, same people with the same sort of brain functioning, but yet they would hold their old stories in their head about being dumb, being slow, being an idiot. This is the way they're born. Okay, so in the long run, things are moving forward for awareness and also for the jobs that are out there. But in the short term, it's all about you. The biggest thing we have to realize is about taking responsibility for ourselves, for our life, for the challenges we're facing, not blaming our dyslexia, not blaming the outside world, but pointing the finger to ourselves, not as in beating ourselves up, but about saying, okay, yes, things happened in the past, yes, people are mean, yes, this has happened, but what can I do now to overcome the challenges that I'm facing? What can I do? And there's a lot I can go into that, and I'll go into that in another podcast about how can you support yourself the best possible, to give you the best possible chance in life, in wherever you're going. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode about how can you make the most out of this year. Simple answer is take responsibility of everything going on in our lives, everything we can control, and about looking at all this other stuff. And that's what we've done today. Guys, hope you enjoyed today. Hope you have a good day. Hope you start the year off good, and catch you all later. Bye bye.